the dome from the above area view using the isometric and geometry technique. Hello everyone, thank you very much for coming back. In this video I'd like to share with you how to draw on the simple techniques a dome from the above views. I understand some find it easy and some find it quite tricky how to draw the area views of a dome. In this video, however, I'm going to share it to those who might wonder how to draw them the simplest way, because many of the drawing usually on the elevation, and in this one is the isometrics or the area views of a building with a dome. This is just monodome, just one single building. I started with the cubic shape of the isometric shape, and using again applying the geometry techniques to find the center point to divide this volume, the massing of this cubic. After I extrude them upward, and again find the center point above. By dividing into two, one is a massing for the dome and one massing below is for the actual shape of the building where the dome actually resting on. And by dividing into two and I find the center of this cube shape, the massing shape of this square cubic shape, this would be the footing of this dome, where it connected to the building below. But in this one again, this is based on the very basic shape of dome, how dome was started, particularly those Brunelleschi kind of dome, which was during the Renaissance time the most profound evidence. And before though, I'm going to start to find, once now that I found the basic shape of the bottom, the footing of this dome, now I'm going to find the top of this dome, which will be the similar size but smaller, that will create the curviness of this dome, more 360 degree of arches shape. But of course, to find that is going to be the straightforward, the easiest way is to using the geometry, rotating the square shape using the geometry line as indicating there. Then finally, again, this is based on proximity. Once I find that exact shape and the exact size, then I project that curved line from above of this dome to the bottom of that we create a dome, as I'm showing here. To do that, I started with creating the octagon shape at the bottom of this dome, and reduce the size right at the top, a similar size of the octagon, and project them, connect them through an arch curvy shape of this supposed to be the ridge, the structure of this dome. I could start it methodically by using trusses first, but in this one it's not necessarily, but as I already started with much great methodical way using this geometry understanding. Right, the next now is to fill this gap in between this structure of this arch shape structure by filling the gap again using the horizontal line. Bearing in mind, it is important to draw with the kind of a three-dimensional awareness. In reality, this will be how the structure works, but at the same time in this drawing is indication of the dome as well. At the same time using the material, the fabric, the roofing of this dome directly. So start filling with the center point first. This is the easy way. Start with divide them first, then fill them in between, in the center. Repeat the same thing in the center, like that, like this. Center, center, divide, 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 center, 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 as indicating here. Then of course add more, make it much more dense, and give a sense of much more realistic. And of course continue like this. Well, here it is, for now, the detail of this roofing fabric of the dome. Now I'm going to add a bit of a detail profile at the bottom of this dome, how it connected to the building structure below. More of the eave of this dome, how it rests on top of this building structure. A bit of obviously slightly overhang, in reality slightly overhang the walling below. I'm going to make it slightly thicker there. Again, similar. Indicating of the structure here, like a usually column. So you see how easy it is to draw this kind of Renaissance time dome. From the isometric views. So what I'm going to do now, to give a bit of a character of this building, usually the cornices below the eave of this roofing, the dome footing, the joint between the bottom of the dome to the top of the building. There's always a kind of a decorum, a bit of a detail, finishing detail in between, so it's not just doesn't look incomplete. It's not exactly. So what I'm going to do now is to find the center of this octagon face, one of these face of this octagon shape of the building, by creating the again using the geometry, using the cross line from one corner to the corner, and where the perpendicular line crossing each other, that is the center point, and crossing the line. What I'm doing here is to find to locate the opening, symmetrical opening, what would be applying to unify it with the shape of this curvy shape of the dome. I'm going to create a round shape of the opening to give a bit of a unity of this design, and of course this ancient building based on the traditional building, the structure has to be curvy shaped because the nature of the material at the time using bricks, concrete, and stone. The stone are good at compression. Bricks, they are durable, and with the structure that is using compression. They're not good at tension, unlike the steel's material. So they're usually curvy, so that I'm applying for that basic understanding as well. Similar to this side. And on this side too. I'm sure many people out there who are practicing drawings, architecture drawing as such, can do different way, much better without using such method as I am. But this again is targeting those who trying to find another way or who find it difficult to draw isometric building with the dome. And this is to those who would like to know it in a methodical way. And I believe this is worthwhile, and as it is, because sometimes drawing dome could be a bit, because the nature of dome is isometric, symmetrical. Sometimes it's very difficult to find the angle, sometimes a bit wonky, but in this one, not perfect, but this is the best way possible to draw them, to make it look symmetrical and the correct shape in such different angle and different perspective from different views, rather than the conventional of using elevation views. So again, I'm going back to this drawing. Again, I fill this the wall by dividing this horizontal line, starting with the middle again. Is as indication of the material, suppose the material is like stone or bricks. Starting and fill with the line, divide them in half. And I'm back to this cornice. I'm going to divide them to give a bit of a character of this fundamental features of this, the nature of this traditional classical architecture buildings. Usually they're not empty, unlike the modern building minimalist. They're taking away all those fundamental features to make it just blank walling, or just what you see is what you get in a way. But in traditional classical architecture, still a lot of people like it. So in this drawing exercise, I also need to apply this to accentuate the nature of the classical architecture. Give a bit of a overhang of these cornices. That's how it usually overhang. A bit of a shed above the walling below. Now I'm going to indicate the expose and enclose again to finish it, to indicate where the light coming from and where the shadow is. Again, in this case, the light I assume is coming from the left and the shadow will be seen on the right. With that in mind, that will indicate to visualize this building in two-dimensionally, in the form of two-dimensional drawing. And of course, when it comes to drawing the dark side, the darkest, and the light, or the expose and enclose, is always to start with the dark part first. The reason is because when I add hatching the dark part of it, then I add more line on the surface to give a bit of texture. By overlapping that, the dark side is already dark, then it add more layers for the texture. Then the balance is there by having that another layer of line on the surface to indicate the texture of the interior or the buildings. Directly adding more dark, much darker on the hatch that started to begin with. So now on back to the roofing of the dome, by simply adding the line instead of just straight vertical line. The best way is to draw this fine line as the shape of the nature of this dome. That will accentuate the curve, the round shape of the dome. Just one bearing in mind, this dome again, as mentioned earlier, is based on the earlier dome of the make it simple, is the Brunelleschi dome in Santa Maria del Duomo in Florence. This is nature that I'm not trying to copy exact of that building, but more of a similar understanding, because it's not completely round shape, but rather slightly pointy at the top. Now again, to add more density of this line on the dome. Now adding more of the lines, give more of information on this roofing. Again, using the shape of this, assuming the curvy shape of this dome. There's this line at the same time, we give it % of texture, tactility, shadow, at the same time to accentuate the nature, the shape of the dome itself. Anyway, you see how easy it is to draw a building dome from the asymmetric views, the area view using the isometric and geometry techniques. How easy it is. I know it's a bit imperfect in terms of profile shape, but I will adjust that in a moment. This is how the drawing is always look back and adjust it, which one is not correct. But for now, adding more of this information here for now, and adding more layers of lines if needed. It's really sketchy, but again, sketchy drawing is always more informative than picturestic, hyper-realistic building, because each line is indicating of the information, guideline, or references to start, how to begin, and to end. Adding much darker again on this line. I need to adjust the shape of this profile to emphasize the shape of this dome. I know it's a bit pedantic by keep on adding these multi-layers overlapping each other in terms of hatching, but at the same time, this is what drawing is all about when it comes to trying to visualize this drawing into three-dimensional. So now I'm adding a bit more, adjusting the layer a bit because a bit wonky there just now. So to give a bit of a thickness, really realistic thickness in terms of shape of the bottom of this building. Because a bit thin there, it isn't look right in relation to the shape of this dome above. So I add more of that because in reality, based on the shape, that side of the profile bowling should be visible a little. And of course, I'm going to adjust the top of this dome as well. Sometimes we don't see this thing when we are drifting away in this drawing process. It is sometimes to look at again from distance. And again, adding again lines. So I'm going to add a bit of a detail on top here to make a cavity instead of something on the top. Because for this exercise, I just to make it simple, just indication of the dome itself. Right, the next one I'm going to add a bit of detail on this round window opening by offsetting them outward and using a geometry to indicate the position of this stone or bricks around this shape of this opening. Simply projecting the line toward the center point of the opening, that makes it how simple it is to create the pattern of the motif of this how this bricks is laid. And of course, again adding a bit of a line there to show, to indicate the texture and the shades on the surface. So here it is for now. I hope this drawing worthwhile sharing to those who like to draw the dome from the above area view using the isometric and geometry techniques. Thank you for watching. See you again next video. Bye.